And that's now filming.
And wait for it. You can start now. Just start talking about what happened. So say. Serious.
Basically, around the time that I was conceived, my dad developed depression, and it was later diagnosed as bipolar disorder. Hence, I don't really have much recollection of him throughout childhood. Even though he was present, he wasn't really a father because he was preoccupied, I guess. Although he's always had a good relationship with my brother, so I don't really know why I lost out. But
And was that difficult on you?
well, I don't remember it being difficult, but now I look at it, I suppose it's had long-term effects that are quite subtle. But for instance, I'm quite anti having a family now because I've seen the effects that I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Just restart the sentence if you get confused.
I don't know, I think just seeing how much a parent can affect a child by their carelessness makes me quite anti ever getting into that. Even though I'd like to think I've learned from his carelessness, I still wouldn't want to bring a child into the world.
So wait, have you ever seen your dad? Like what actually happened?
Well, I never actually realised he was ill until I was about 14 when my mum told me.
Because that's the important thing is that what happened in your teens, so that finding out the...
Yeah, I think when I found out I went for a bit of a weird phase because I was always really negative about him, and my brother was always sort of singing his praises, but I was sort of like, nah, he's a dickhead, like I have no interest in knowing him. But then when I found out he'd been ill, I didn't really know how to view him because I sort of thought, well, maybe I should have some sympathy. But then at the same time, he still had the effort to bother with my brother when he was ill, so why not me? So
how did that affect your teens?
I don't know, I suppose I went for a little phase where I was not very rebellious, but basically everything he said I would just be like, no, and did the opposite kind of thing. Because he's always been one of these parents that doesn't really have much empathy or understanding for younger people. So in terms of drinking and things like that, if ever I did something wrong, he'd sort of go off on one, and then it's like, well, you don't have any right to tell me what to do, so.
And what happened when you got your stepdad in your teens?
Yeah, see, I really liked him. He was like the first proper fatherly figure I can say I've ever considered. And he moved in with us, and he's very helpful around the house, and he made my mum happy, which I haven't seen in a very, very long time. So I think I kind of got overly attached to him, but then he cheated on my mum. So then he went. So now I generally have a very anti-male attitude.
Do you ever talk about if you've ever seen your stepdad or dad? And what?
Huh?
Do you see your stepdad or your dad? Talk about that sort of thing. Like now?
I haven't seen my stepdad in a long time. Well, ex-stepdad. Although I do see him driving around quite a lot and give him death stares. I only ever really see my dad on occasions like birthdays and that, or if I want a lift. I kind of abuse his what should be a fatherly duty, and yeah, don't really make much effort otherwise. I think he deserves it.
How does he treat you now then? How does he
more-
treat you now in comparison to how he treated you when you were sort of 14?
Well, when I was 14, it was more just a case of, because I was like a young teenager getting into all the drinking and stuff, it was more just him telling me what to do and me ignoring it. And now I think he sort of probably got to grips with it, and it's more just like a matey acquaintance relationship. Just sort of be civil, I guess.
What about, is there any way you could talk about what happened with your brother and the car crash? Does that relate in any way?
Yeah, I feel like where I said about where when I was say like 14 and I got maybe a bit rebellious, my brother was very much, my other brother who again doesn't really have any relationship with my dad, he sort of took the rebellion to the next level. He got intoxicated, I'll call it. I don't really know to what extent, but he was in an accident. And then he was in intensive care for a little while, and he found out he's got like a cyst on his brain. And then that was another occasion when my dad sort of didn't handle it like a parent should, and tried to discipline, but had no right to really. And my brother from then somehow became even more rebellious, really. He was quite troublesome to live with, to say the least.
And do you think that was anything to do with your dad not being around?
Yeah, I feel like it probably was. Yeah, I feel like me and that brother have always been closer than my other brother has ever been with any of us. Because my older brother, it's always been him and my dad, and then it's been me, my mum and my other brother. So it's sort of like a halved family. So yeah.
And maybe do like a bit of a sum up of how you are now?
Now I guess I just use my dad for lifts and presents.
Has your relationship improved at all?
I wouldn't say
say it in a self-contained sentence.
I wouldn't say now our relationship has improved in a sense of being a daughter and a father. It's probably improved in terms of being like friends, being polite. Yeah, like on my phone he's not saved his dad, he's saved his Steve. I don't think he can ever get back to that role kind of thing.
No, that's good, that's good. That was 7 minutes. So
God, it felt like so much longer.
Right.